Hello everybody, Mouse from the Falls again. I just thought I'd show you what I've been up to for the Buggy gas tank. I've got some slotted steel that I welded together to make up space in these tanks that I have, and I reused the springs to help with that as well. I have more metal here that I can weld together for the other ones, but here's how it's going to work. These tanks come out of an air concentrator that filters air so someone can breathe more oxygen when necessary. These tanks already have a large fitting on the bottom. That'll give me plenty of fuel flow, which will be gasoline. And they're hollow. This little white ring you see in here after the black mark is where the filter screen used to sit. These tanks had a medium type substance from the top down to the bottom that helped filter out the air, clean it up. There's plastic caps that go on here. These things have two little ports on there. One I'll close off with shrink wrap, the other I'll use to vent gasoline fumes elsewhere. Now, when these caps are on the tanks, they will sit down inside there, and they have these snap rings that sit inside the groove to keep the cap in. That spring sits underneath the cap, pushing back on everything so it stays together. Here's a spring I haven't used yet. That's how that sits inside the tanks. So what I've done is made a spacer. That way the spring will still do its job. This way, I still get the gas out of the bottom. Nothing's plugged up. I don't really lose any volume because of the holes in the steel and the way I've put it together. So now, I center that spring under the cap, push that back in all the way until I get the snap ring back in there, and that tank is done. Real simple. And very creative, if I might say so myself. I have these four here. The smaller one, I'll probably use that for an oil catch can because it has a tiny little bitty fitting on the bottom. And a few different pieces on top. Here's the other one that I made. I have 4 more to make, so this would be number 2. The other 2 for the other 2 tanks there on the bench. That's 4 total. I had to go into my storage to get these 2 tanks. That's what they look like fresh out of the machine before I pull anything apart. There's the hose on that they use. One will get a spacer in it. The other one will have to have a square type spacer made. So with the angle iron here that I used, instead of going an X pattern like this, I'll turn it and make a square. It'll come out to the same diameter as the spring like it already is. Then I'll just weld the spring on there. That one with the square will be the one that has the gas cap and fill nozzle parts put on it. I'll simply cut a hole in the top of the cap, sandwich in the filler neck that I'll purchase off eBay, and then the same thing with the spring and the spacer in there, then a snap ring in the top, which you can see here. Right there's the space where that snap ring is, and that's how these are going to look when they're done. If anybody's been watching the videos and Redbeard's Garage here on YouTube, then they know what happened to his 670cc go-kart that he made. He had the gas tank sitting above the engine, and for some odd reason things were leaking gas onto the top of the motor. The motor backfired and his kart went up in flames. I don't want that issue. I don't wish it on anybody. So when I get around to building a cage for this buggy of mine, my tanks are going to sit around the outer edges where the pillars are going to be, and they'll be upright. That way they're out of the way. I don't have to worry about gas falling on the motor, and so on and so forth. Yes, I know it's dark out and it's been raining too. So that's where we're at for that part of the buggy. Got my gas tank stuff figured out. And I will continue on at a later date with more progress to this, because I'm also starting a new job. So I'll have to see what my schedule is, go from there, work on this when I have the time, so on and so forth. So for now, have fun, stay safe out there, and enjoy. Mouse in the Falls, signing off again for now.